Sorry.
That's all right. Everyone have a nice Shabbat. Nice to see everyone. Remember what we learned last week, I hope? We tested a little bit, just to make sure before we build on what we learned that we're on the same page. So we're focusing a little bit on Tefillah. Now, when Gemara talks about Tefillah, that refers to what? Anyone know? Shama, Shema, Aleinu, Hayom, Shemona Esrei. Tefillah in Gemara brachos means Shemona Esrei. When we talk about Tefillah Shachar, it means everything. But for these couple of weeks, focusing a little bit on Shachar, what it is, Shemona Esrei. And last week we went through very important things. And to me, hopefully, the more we learn about Tefillah, the more we me'ayin in Tefillah, learn about Tefillah, hopefully the more we can have kavanah, the more we understand it. So we learned last week about we have the 19 brachot. And Ya'aleh v'Yavo is a bit of a question. Does that become what? An integral part of Shemona Esrei. And if you didn't see Ya'aleh v'Yavo, you didn't daven. And that's where you have to go back. Or you didn't see Ya'aleh v'Yavo, you didn't see Ya'aleh v'Yavo, but you did daven. We had that whole question. And either way you go back. A nafka mina means a test case, a litmus test to see the difference between the two theories is when, if you only remembered at night after Rosh Chodesh is over, oh wow, 2 hours ago I didn't say Ya'aleh v'Yavo. It's not Rosh Chodesh, what can I do? That was a question. And what do we maintain? Shulchan Aruch says the question among the Rishonim, he says, I can't paskin who's right between Tosfos and Harvard Ventus. He came up with a very interesting idea called what? A Tanai. What's a Tanai? You make a Tanai. If I'm chayav to daven again, and this is tashlum. Tashlum means you missed the daven, you make up a daven. Shemona Esrei you missed, you make up Shemona Esrei. And if I'm not, then we have an option here. We don't have the brachot. And what is that called? Tefillah nedavar. Very good. We have an optional davening, and anytime one. Right now, we are davening Shabbos. We hear Chas v'Shalom a crisis. We can all get up right now and say Shemona Esrei, and add in requests into this Shemona Esrei. We don't do that anymore because let's just get Shabbos and Mechamav intact before we start adding on. But here in this situation, I can do it. That was a review of some of the key ideas of last week. Okay, so we've done Shemona Esrei, and we have additions, and the question is, what role does additions play? Okay. Now, are you ready for a little alumnus over here? I hope so. Here's a question. Chazarat Hashatz. It's another part of Tefillah that we have, and it's a very interesting history. It's really foreign. We do Chazarat Hashatz, Shabbos and Mincha. The history is fascinating. What's history behind Chazarat Hashatz? Anyone know?
Not everyone could daven.
Yeah, the Gemara's term was Eino Baki. Many people were considered Eino Baki. They didn't know how to daven. Now, any language that you can read in, Russian, French, Spanish, there's going to be a sitter. So we don't have a concept anymore. But we have something called an Eino Baki. People just could not daven. So the Chazan would repeat Shemona Esrei for those people, and they'd listen. And it'd be a lot of focusing. Can you imagine? Kiddush is hard to focus for 1 minute of Kiddush. But just like we have Megillah Desta, you have to focus the whole thing. So that was Shemona Esrei. If you wanted to have your Shemona Esrei, you didn't know how to daven. And don't forget, the printing press first started a few centuries ago. So you didn't have that many sitters around. People knew it by heart, and people didn't. And for those who didn't, there was a beautiful option. Beautiful option. And the option was to listen to the Chazan. And that's how you Yotzei. And that's not foreign to be Yotzei brachot from others. We do it all the time. When do we do it? Kiddush every Friday night. Someone says Kiddush, and the others listen. And what do we call that? When you hear, and it's as if you said it.
Yes.
The Yotzei, because of the rule of Shomea Ka'oneh. I heard it as if I said it. And not only are you allowed to be Yotzei that way, we even say it's best for one person to say Kiddush and everyone else should be Yotzei. It's best. Not each one say their own Kiddush. Why? Oh, why? You're on top of things. Perov Am Hadrat Melech, having one give praise on behalf of everyone as a group, as opposed to each one doing their own thing, is much better. Perov Am Hadrat Melech. And that's what most do. In my house, Rabbi Tursky, Satzav, he was over with us every other Shabbat, and he makes his own Kiddush. Hasidim, for various reasons, hold no, you have to make your own Kiddush. And you don't, at least Hasidim where he came from. And that you're not Yotze from others, not L'chatchila. It's your own Maisa Mitzvah. Yes, Shemei Kona works in other cases, but not by Kiddush. And when Yehuda Tversky, his grandson, is over by us nowadays, he makes his own Kiddush, like his grandfather. So that's interesting. But most of us whole Shemei Kona works by Hamotzi, it works by Kiddush, and that's fine.
Did the concept of Amen come at the time of Chazarat Hashatz? When did saying Amen as
Nice
being?
question. So Amen actually came way before. Once we have the concept of brachot, we have the concept of Amen coming. When they instituted Chazar Hashatz, they took advantage of the concept of Shomei Kona to employ it there as well, but it existed beforehand also. So listen to this. Chazar Hashatz is what we have. And why do we still do it today? Thank God we all have Sidurim. So why do we still have Chazar Hashatz today? So we do use it because what else do we use Chazar Hashatz for? We use it for Kedusha, Kechatz Kohanim. We use it for other things, but if we have everyone knows how to daven, why do we still use it? Why do we still have Chazar Hashatz?
What about Sephardic services? They seem to be much more in line with this way of thinking.
Meaning?
They say it together out loud. Everything's together and out loud. Everybody hears it, and it's also out loud.
Shemon Esrei? Or throughout the Pesukei the same ones? Ah, yes, you happen to be right. One of my favorite parts of going on vacations, and as manim, and staying over in a Tanya or some friend's apartment, wherever it may be, is if there's a nice Sephardic minyan in the town, the Sephardic davening is so miyuchad. Everyone's out loud. There's such a spirit there. So I agree. I think referring to in davening, because there are some Sephardim where they'll do Chazar Hashatz, they'll start the Tefillah out loud right away in some Sephardic kilos. That's an interesting one. For Musaf on Shabbat, the specific times to do, which needs to be looked into, why they do that. But the rest of the davening is amazing. Always inspiration. You can have guys walk in without a kippah, they'll put that kippah on, or they'll borrow from the shul, but the tefillah is so special. They have a special chibur to tefillah, it's true. Yes.
Rav Soloveitchik said that it's an integral part of tefillah, that you have to hear every word and respond to every bracha, that it's not just, to help the people who can't understand, it's an integral part of tefillah.
Yes, so the Shulchan Aruch itself says that, and you have to hear every word. The simple meaning is that once it's instituted, the whole value of Chazar Hashatz is for what? For the community to hear. And you need a minyan. So you need a minyan to hear. It's true, the Briskers took this a whole nother level. Like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, they have a whole nother understanding of Chazar Hashatz and what it is, and standing your feet together. A lot of
Not just Rosh Hashanah, but every Chazar Hashatz.
have your feet together. Because they definitely have a chidushim on Rosh Hashanah even more. So the Shulchan Aruch does say you should be standing and listening to every word. That is in the Shulchan Aruch itself, Chazar Hashatz. And but listen to this. Let's say a person gets up one morning, man or woman, and I'm just a little bit tired, but I know I should daven. So you know what I'll do this morning? I'm gonna just listen to the Chazan. I'll be Yosef in the Chazan. I do that for Kiddush. I do that for Megillah Esther. I'm going to do that for the Shemona Esrei. I'm just a little bit tired. I'll focus. How are you going to focus Shemona Esrei more than you be able to say the words? I don't know, but that's what you're going to do. What do you say about such a case? Now you are a Baki. Thank God, everyone knows how to daven. But you're a little lazy today, or whatever the case may be. And I listen to the Chazan and the Yotze. What do you say? No? So l'chatchila, we don't do this, but you did it. You did it already. So are you Yotze in such a case? So you'd say, yes, Shomer Kahoneh. What if I tell you what? It's the only case that Shomer Kahoneh doesn't work. Doesn't work. It's not a chiddush. It's a novel idea. It's a novel idea that Shemona Esrei. So it's true with Chachili, you want to daven, but I listen to every word. it said. I was focused for 4 minutes. In this day and age, to be focused for 5 minutes straight, that's heroic. And I listened to every word, and I'm so proud. And then my rabbi says, go back to go, start again. So you want something amazing. The way I understand it is that Shmona Esrei, when the rabbi said that you have to daven on your own, and it's only for an Eino Baki, someone who's there but just can't, he says Shmona Esrei is different than all other brachos.
So personal too.
It's personal, and it is Amida Lifnei Hashem. You are Omed Lifnei Hashem. It's not just 1,000 words, 2,000, however many words that one should answer. Okay, I heard the 2,000 words. It's not. That's Kiddush. That's Hamotzi. There's other brachot, you heard the words, and you are Yotze, and maybe even that was the ideal way. Shemona Esrei is different. It's Amida Lifnei Hashem. And there's no proxy for that. Not if you can stand in front of Hashem yourself. You could do Amida Lifnei Hashem. We don't even accept even b'diavad. It's worthless, halachically, if you listen to someone else. So those 5 minutes of focus, kol hakavod to you, stop them again. Yeah.
A little part of that was Modim D'Rabbanan. Why do we have Modim D'Rabbanan? I know there were two Maskot in the Gemara and
Yes.
that, but I heard nobody can say thank you for you. Nobody else can say thank you for you.
Nice idea. Nice idea. That's very good. That's very good. So they made a takana that you must be omed. It's not just a word, it's a state of Amida Lifnei Hashem, standing in front of Hashem. And no one else can do that for you. Only you. Never, if you have no choice, so then you listen to the Shliach Tzibur, and that's the best you could do, and Hashem accepts that. But it goes from an Eino Baki, but that's his only choice, and once you're Baki, nothing. There's no other case like that. There are brachos that it's best that you do it on your own. If you listen, you listen. Let's say Al Mechia. I hear you say Al Mechia, and I know how to say Al Mechia. Say it for me. No. You say it for yourself. There's no reason to join at that point. Hamotzi, you're all together. Zimun, you're all together. Al Mechia, you have no connection. It's not ideal for you to listen to someone else. But if you have no choice, or if you're lazy, you are Yotze. Shemona Esrei is different. It's a state. And that state cannot be replicated. So it's a beautiful idea that every time we are standing in front of Hashem, it's not just 19 brachot. It's a different state that we're in, a state of Amida Lifnei Hashem, and he cannot be Yotze by hearing someone else. There are a few exceptions here and there. The exception would be if you know how to daven, you're in a hospital and you just, plugs in your mouth, you have tubes in your mouth. Okay, so then listen to the chazan, you're anonymous. Then you're an Eino Baki. Or maybe another case, you said the first bracha Shmona Esrei without kavana. We'll talk maybe in future weeks about kavana, where you need kavana, where it's indispensable. And you had the first bracha and you just didn't have kavana, so now you're sort of in no man's land because that first bracha is indispensable, and now you're stuck. I really can't go on because my first bracha is not in order. To go back is not simple. So some say in such a case where you're stuck, you could wait where you are, and then what? Listen to the chazan when he gets up to that first bracha, and then be yotzef him, because for that moment you're defined as what? In Eino Baki, because you're sort of in no man's land. That's the Mishnah Berurah's advice. We don't really do that. We just go on and daven. That's a whole nother question. We'll discuss it another time. But either I thought this was like a nice concept to introduce today. The concept of Amida Lifnei Hashem. So when you stand next time, Shachos Milchamar, and maybe one time we'll discuss woman's obligation. If you don't know different opinions on that one, so we should have hopefully a different way of looking at Tefillah. It's mamish a qualitative difference in all the other brachos. It's an amida which cannot be replaced by proxy, unless a person ain't a bucket. And Chazal said, okay, you're going to treat it like other halachot.
What if you're slow in saying the amida and they've already started the Chazar or Shas? And what I usually do is I stop and listen to the
Right, very good.
and then go back.
Right, so there's a
Is
big
that right?
machlokas, Rambam, Rashi, and all the shittas what to do. We paskin that you listen, and then you have shomea ka'oneh. So, and somehow it works that you yotze, but it's not as if you literally said it and it's an interruption. Some say if you really take shomea
Yeah, instead of
ka'oneh
being
literally,
in the middle of your
but
tefillah.
you don't answer on that. You just listen. And so you have Shemay Kona to the point that you Yod say, but not to the point that it's a Hefsek. Although the Shita say, no, once you say Shemay Kona, you can too, that just continues Shemon Esrei. But we don't pass it that way, we pass it, stop with this. Any other questions? Okay, we should have meaningful, inspiring tefillah. We should have tell to everyone.
Melissa, what time is this?
Right now, I'm just here. You could do it. Yeah.